Okay, Eli, I'm about to make it a post.
All
Oh
right.
no.
Okay. Peace, power, and profit. We are back again with another uh, studious live stream. And today we're going to talk about some investment recommendations and estate planning. Basically, try to cover uh, those of you that have families who are married with children and some type of dependent, so forth and so on. So what we're gonna start with is a basically trying to help you build a profile, a financial profile for yourself. So, and this could be an individual as well. You don't have to be married or so forth and so on, but it does kind of require you to have some type of beneficiary, whether it's a family member or somebody you're close to that you trust, and so forth and so on the behalf of you as a person. If something were to happen to you, you know, whatever that you have, whether it's assets or bank account, so forth and so on, it can go to somebody that's close to you or a beneficiary. All right, so um, if you've never been to a firm and you really don't have a financial advisor, seeing over your assets, um, they typically will kind of build like a financial profile to um, kind of put you where you need to be as far as the accounts you need and all of that stuff. So, um, of course, you have like individual accounts, and then you have other accounts that are for, like I said, beneficiaries. If you're married, there's joint accounts, and that's what we're going to start with right now. So, just going to read some material, some of the stuff you can find on your own. I'll make sure to share what I have, or have Mo put that in the chat here in a little while. But I want to start out by reading basically what an individual account is. Basically where a single person wishes to open an account for his or her benefit. Um, and you don't really need any special paperwork. It's no different than opening a bank account. You just need, the basic stuff. Um, and then you have the individual account or a TOD or POD, because a lot of times, like I said earlier, is when you have your personal individual account and you don't really set it up to give to a beneficiary, so to speak, um, it could be a problem. So a problem with an individual account is that when the owner dies, the account gets locked up until it goes through the deceased individual's estate. And so we'll talk about, estate and estate planning and wills and all that stuff later. Um, Hopefully we get time to get there. But I just want to kind of run through this real quick, um, because I know in our community that this type of information is lacking, and a lot of times we leave what we have or what we own and nobody gets it. So this is why this stuff is important. This is why it's called investment recommendations. All right. So um, a problem within an individual account is that when an owner dies, the account gets locked up until it goes through the deceased individual's estate, and it must go through probate, where anyone can contest the will. So that's basically when you go to court. Anybody can claim it. They can be like, oh well, blah 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 blah. Left it to me, and it could be a whole debate, and you got to go to court to have those proceedings. Something similar is kind of like what OJ is going through currently, with his estate. Uh, and it's a lot more complicated than that. But if you don't have a beneficiary, basically anybody can claim, whatever you left. So that's why it's important to have a beneficiary of somebody you trust with whatever you own or have. Okay, so it says here most states now allow an individual to be held TOD, which is a transfer on death. Transfer on death, also called pay on death (POD). Uh, TOD registration allows the customer to maintain control over the account, but upon death, the account assets transfer to the named beneficiary, bypassing the estate and bypassing probate. No one can contest the transfer. So that's why it's good to have a beneficiary on file with, your broker, your advisor, so forth and so on. That way, nobody can come out of the blue and contest that, oh, he owed me this, he told me this and that. Well, no, the paperwork said that this is his beneficiary and it belongs to them. Then you have no debates. And a lot of times, you even see it with, celebrities. A lot of times they don't have a will, they don't have a trust, they don't have an estate, and people can come, family members, don't matter if you ain't seen them since you were little, they can just come in and make a case on why they should have that. And when you don't plan for this type of stuff, it can be messy like this. So that's why it's good to know this information so we can pass it down to the beneficiaries and we don't have to do all the drama and waste a bunch of time, sometimes resources, to get our claim, so to speak. And it just puts your life in order. It gives you some stability. Um, and everybody kind of knows, the people who need to know, kind of knows the order of business, how this works, and can keep your legacy and what you want to happen with your estate or with your assets or whatever it is, how you want that distributed. So we'll get into more details later if I can cover all of this tonight. But this is kind of like the basics. Um, let's see. All right, TOD registration is often used by an elderly parent that wishes to have assets passed directly to an adult child upon the elderly owner's death, and is often used in second marriages where there are children from the first marriage, and each spouse wants to make sure that his or her assets go only to his or her respective children upon death. All right. So you have, some people out there that, they make kids with, a first marriage, and then that marriage doesn't work out, and then they remarry, and so forth and so on. So you want to make sure, your seeds are covered, and give them like an inheritance, which our people needs to do more of. Um, so everybody gets a piece of your legacy. Legacy is important. So we have to, whatever we're building here during our lifetime, and if you have assets, you have something that's, has some value, that's worth something. It doesn't matter if it's a leather couch or, a photo album from, the 1800s. If it's labeled value, you want to make sure you put that in there. That way, it's protected, and you put it in good hands, and that's about all you can do. But if it's worth something, you should have that in a trust or a estate or will or whatever the case is. And that's all of this. All what this is saying is that you need to make sure you pass that legacy down, and don't just die and you got all of this stuff and nobody really cares to take care of it, or only one person finds it valuable. So don't you know establish your legacy and pass your legacy down to keep it flowing, keep it rolling. And that's what a lot of our people uh they don't do. We don't pass down our legacy or things we own and value. It's got to be more than word of mouth. It's got to be documented. It's got to be on paper, and that's putting things into uh or giving it structure, I should say. Putting this stuff in a document on paper, legalized. That way, you know, nobody is arguing or bickering about, you know, who deserves what. I did this for this person, and sister, this and that. They owe me. They owe me for this, and we can shut all that down by getting this stuff put on paper and documented. Like, this is where my legacy is going. This is who I want to run this. This is this person's portion, and so forth and so on. We just cut all the drama out and nip everything in the bud, but we make sure that the legacy lives on, and the beneficiaries of that can keep the legacy living on strong and doing the right things with it. All right, so now we got something called a Totten Trust, uh, um, which is a TOD registration, which is the transfer on death. Um, it's not really a trust account. Let's read here. This is not really a trust account since any adult can open one without a trust document. These are usually small bank accounts where a beneficiary is named to receive the account balance at the depositor's death. Often, the beneficiary does not even know of the existence of the account. The depositor can revoke the Totten trust at any time without penalty. So, um, at some rare occasion that there's an account you don't know of, and they created a Totten trust, um, that's what that is for. I'm pretty sure people have done it, but I'm not sure it's that popular. Um, Yet and still, this is another thing or another account that parents, grandparents can create, and make sure that the kids are taken care of, you taken care of, and all of that. All right, so moving on, let's go into joint accounts. So we kind of know, what a joint account is. It's you and another person, maybe your significant other, or brother, sister, cousin, best friend, colleague, whatever. So basically, it's more than one person. So with this account, to open such an account, a signed joint account agreement is needed, signed by each named person on the account. So y'all document this, right? And it goes right back to paperwork, getting everything on paper, getting your signature. So you're liable for anything. You can't say, oh, well, my name wasn't on the account anyway. So, nah. It's got to be on legal paper. So everybody is in agreement. Everybody knows what's going on, so forth and so on. All right. So in that joint account, there is something called joint tenants with rights of survivorship. And that is each party owns an undivided interest in the account. If one party dies, the other person is the sole owner of the account. This ownership option is most common for a husband and wife. Note that it can also be used by two people who are unmarried living in a committed relationship or similar family type relationships. So, simple and plain, y'all both got to sign the document. Um, it can be family members, it can be husband and wife, it can be, boyfriend and girlfriend that's committed, but it's an account for more than one person. But again, it's documented. Uh, Mo, give me 1 second. Okay,
Chris, did you
sorry.
go on mute?
Yeah,
No.
I had to take a call. All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So now, since we got that out the way, there's another joint account called tenants by entireties. This is a method of joint ownership that is only available to a married couple and which is only available in a limited number of states. So joints, like joints of tenants with rights of survivorship, if one dies, the surviving spouse becomes the sole owner of the property. The main difference between joints with tenants with rights of survivorship and tenants by entireties is what happens if one account owners is sued. Tenants by entireties treats the ownership of the account as one entity. So remember, the joints with rights of survivorship, it's multiple entities, but within tenants by entireties, it's one sole entity. So that's why it's primarily beneficial for just a married couple, not friends and family members and business partners and all of that other stuff. So if um if you get sued, the you the owner, both of y'all are getting sued. So okay, going on. Tenants by entirety treats the ownership of the account as one entity. And if one of the owners is sued and a judgment is obtained, the assets in the account cannot be seized. In contrast, with joint tenants with rights of survivorship, the joint tenants are not considered to be a single legal entity. If a single spouse was sued and a judgment was obtained, the creditor could get 50% of the assets in the account if the judgment was that large. So these are the main differences between the two. But the tenants of entireties is basically only available to married couples. All right. So the next joint account we have is tenants in common. With the tenants in common, each party specifies a percentage interest in the account. If a person dies, his percentage interest is included in his estate. It can then be passed by will to any named person. This ownership option is most common for business partners. So as you can see, each account has specifics for the people that are creating the account. So you had a regular individual account, then you have a regular joint account, and then you have a joint with rights of survivorship, and then you have the joints with rights of survivorship. Basically, married, boyfriend and girlfriend, cousins, other family members, so forth and so on. And then you have uh, tenants by entireties, which is strictly for married couples. And now you have tenants in common, which is, for business partners, because of the percentage of interest that each will have in their account. So if it's just two of y'all, then y'all are 50-50 partners, basically, in this account. And like it says, if that person passes, it goes to his estate, and then a decision to be made on where um, that ownership goes after that. So it's common for business partners to have this type of account. Next, we have um, family limited partnership account. Limited partnerships are business forms that allow for flow through of gain and loss to the partners without the business itself being taxable. The family members are the partners in the venture. These are used for estate tax planning purposes, where typically the parents are the general partners who contribute assets to a trust over which they maintain control. The heirs, which are the children, are the limited partners who have no management role. They are the passive investors. The parents use their estate tax credit so that no estate tax is due when the assets are contributed to the trust, and the value of such assets contributed to the trust is discounted since these assets are worth a lesser amount when they are held via a limited partnership, or partnership assets are illiquid. So you have the parents who are the general partners, and then you have the children, which are the limited partners. And the business itself is taxable, but the limited partners, just like a LLC, um, which is limited liability. I know a lot of people are familiar with that. So the children in this regard, they are the limited partners. They have no management role. So the parents are the bosses, so to speak. And then I think right down here is going to talk about um, how that is going to work when it's passed on. So they give an example. So the parents might contribute a $700,000 house to the trust, but it goes into the trust at a $600,000 value against the estate tax credit, because you got to pay the taxes. This discount is one tax benefit. The next benefit is that each parent then gives $16,000 worth of their shares each year to each child. Up to $16,000 of gift can be given. This was in 2022 to a recipient without the donor having to pay gift tax. Note that this amount is adjusted for inflation annually. Thus, over time, the asset in the trust becomes the property of the children without an estate tax bill. So this would be good for that family or that legacy that we were talking about, because now we're taking advantage of a taxable event for something like a house, and then you just pass those shares and you gifting it to the trust for the children, and it's not taxed on the donors of that. So this is, very beneficial, man, for families that, they have a family owned business or whatever the case, or, they've been gifted something, down the line, and then they want to pass it down, to, the next generation, or the kids, and then the kids pass it down to their kids, and so forth and so on. So you keep that value and hold the legacy together. Um, and so, like, that's a family limited partnership account. that you can get, and it goes on to say to open such account, a copy of the certificate of limited partnership, the document filed with the state to create the legal partnership entity must be obtained. I think you can set this up as hold on. It says institutional customers are broken down into two broad categories. The oldest form of institutional ownership is either a sole proprietorship or a general partnership. These business forms predated the invention of the corporation, which happened around the year 1600. With these older business forms, you simply go into business. Yeah, so that's basically what a sole proprietorship is. Um, the state can ask to be notified that you are doing business there, but there is no state creation of the business itself. Um, both sole proprietorships and general partnerships are the easiest businesses to form, but the owners take on unlimited liability. I think we all know that. In contrast, state created business entities limit liability, which is their major benefit. So that's the family limited partnership account. Um, hopefully, we have some people out there that are already doing this, but it is another account that you can definitely use and put it to work, man, for your family. So this stuff is all about family and passing down your legacy and making sure everything has paperwork. We can't just talk. It can't just be oral and verbal. We got to put this stuff down on paperwork, make it legal, make it real. It can't just be an idea. It has to be real. And we have to be honest, uh, this is severely lacking in our community. This will get rid of, GoFundMe's and, a bunch of cash apps and all of this other stuff. But, you can create an account, start putting money into that account or whatever it is that you have a value in that account. And a lot of times people put appreciated assets in that account, because they're going to hold their value. And it's something that, the younger generations can, benefit from because it's the legacy. The legacy is important. A lot of times we like to talk about, our ancestors' legacy with, people discussing, African history, talking about the pyramids and, the different things the different cultures held in regard as far as, spiritual systems and, mask and art and stuff like that. It's the same thing with this. We got to be able to pass down our legacy, and our culture of building, good habits with finances and entrusting those to the kids or to the children to do the right thing on what we're building now. This is how you have an empire. This is how you have a legacy. But it has to start with you. And it has to start with legal documents being written down. And it's, just think about that. It starts with you. So if you're a parent, if you're a grandparent, or if you just single, get you an account, man. Get you an account. Let's see. Let me get into 1 second. All right, so talk about fiduciary customers are like a trust account. In a trust, a trustee is appointed to manage the assets for a beneficiary under the terms set forth in the trust agreement. The terminology associated with trust is legalistic. Uh, Basically, it's legal. The settler is the individual who establishes the trust, donates the assets to the trust, sets the objectives of the trust, names the beneficiary or beneficiaries of the trust, and names the trustee. The trustee is a fiduciary that manages the assets of the trust in the best interest of the beneficiary. So if you're gonna appoint somebody to be a trustee, uh, you better trust them for one, and for two, they can only go by what the document says for the trust. So, all right, next is the beneficiary, the individual or individuals named in the trust document for whom the assets are being managed. The trust document may or may not bequeath the assets to the beneficiary or beneficiaries on the death of the settler. All right. So, all right, legal list. The trust is a legal entity formed in the state, with the trustee being a fiduciary over the account. Fiduciaries are often limited by each state in the types of investments that can be made. State law requires that fiduciaries either follow the prudent man rule, or restrict investments to a legal list provided by the state. Under the prudent man rule, only investments that would be made by a prudent individual are permitted. If the state restricts investments to its legal list, then the only securities on the list are available for investment. Generally, legal list investments consist of debt rated in the top four rating categories. You know, that's your Standard and Poor's, Moody and Fitch, uh, credit rating instruments of BBB or better. A copy of the trust agreement must be obtained to open the account. The agreement will specify the types of transactions that the trustee is allowed to perform. So this is laying it all out what you need basically to set up a trust account. And like I said, this is all paperwork. This is documented. There's no debates. There's no drama, you know, and you can't debate what's on the trust document. And the people that are put in place will protect that. So, all right. Inter vivos trust, testamentary trust. Trust can be set up during one's lifetime, called an inter vivos trust, which is Latin for during one's life, or can be established in one's will upon death, called a testamentary. Um, Inter vivos trust can be set up either as revocable or non-revocable trust, whereas testamentary trusts are non-revocable, meaning you can't touch it anymore. And we're gonna go into that right now. So, revocable trust taxation, non-revocable trust taxation. In a revocable trust, the grantor remains control over the property by reserving the right to revoke the trust. The view of the IRS is that since the individual grantor retains control, the income in the trust is the same as income to that individual, taxed at personal income tax rates to that individual. On the other hand, income in a non revocable trust is taxed at trust rates to the trust itself. A separate trust tax return is filed. Okay, so now we got trust for married couples, bypass trust. A bypass trust, also called an A/B trust, is only available to married couples. The intention is to minimize estate taxes. When one spouse dies, the estate's assets are split into two separate trusts. The A trust contains the surviving spouse's assets, which he or she can do with as they wish. Estate tax is deferred on this until the death of the surviving spouse. The B trust contains the decedent's asset and the amount of the estate tax exemption. Thus, there is no estate tax due on the B trust assets. The B trust assets are typically used for the benefit of the surviving spouse, and when he or she dies, the B trust assets are distributed to a named beneficiary or beneficiaries. All right, so trust for second marriages. A Q-tip trust is a qualified terminable interest property trust. It allows the grantor to provide for the surviving spouse and to also determine how the assets are distributed after the surviving spouse dies. Commonly used in second marriages, this is an irrevocable trust. The surviving spouse receives the income from the trust, and upon his or her death, the remaining assets are distributed to the named beneficiaries of the trust, which will be the children from both now dead parents. All right. All right, so now we have charitable trust. If an individual wants to donate funds to a charity and still maintain control over the assets, he or she can establish a charitable trust. The grantor of a trust can be the trustee, and the trustee gets to make all of the decisions regarding the actions of the trust. The donor gets the tax benefit of a charitable deduction with the amount of dependents or with the amount of dependent of the type of charitable trust that is set up. The trust has a fixed life, either a fixed number of years specified in the trust document, or often the trust ends when the grantor dies and assets are distributed to the named beneficiaries. There are two main types of charitable trust, either a charitable lead trust or a charitable remainder trust. The charitable lead trust in a charitable lead trust, the donor retains control of the contributed assets and gets a tax deduction for contributions made to a specified charity with any income from those assets. These deductible contributions are made over a set number of years or are made until the grantor dies. When the trust expires, the remaining assets go to a party of the donor's choosing, usually family members. Next is charitable remainder trust. A charitable remainder trust is often viewed as the opposite of a charitable lead trust. In a charitable remainder trust, the annual income from the trust goes to a designated beneficiary or beneficiaries, such as children of the grantor, so there is no tax deduction for these. And then upon death of the grantor, the remainder is given to a charity. In such a trust, the tax deduction is lower because it is based on the expected present value of the remainder that will go to charity at determination of the trust. All right. So those are your charitable trusts. Um, sure that can be beneficial to some as well, but it's just good knowing this information, knowing what is out there and what you can take advantage of. And like I said, this is really just for the knowledge. And, if it applies to you, great. But it's definitely good to have this information. Um, all right, next we have something called a donor advised fund, or DAF. A DAF, or donor advised fund, allows investors to donate directly to a charitable fund but retain control over their assets. Donors get an immediate tax deduction for amounts contributed, but contributions are irrevocable. The donor decides when and how much to contribute from the fund to various charities. Any assets not donated grow tax free, and the donor decides how they should invest in. I think this is something you wanted to hear about, Mo, if I'm not mistaken. Um, DAF DAF administrators qualify as public charities under Section 501c3 of the tax code. The community foundations or religious organizations can administer DAFs. Nonprofit organizations associated with financial institutions such as Schwab, Fidelity, and Vanguard also administer them. Aside from the fees charged by the underlying investments, e.g., operating expenses for mutual funds and ETFs, there is an additional layer of administrative fees that the broker imposes. DAFs can be set up with small dollar amounts, often as little as $5,000. All right, foundations, very wealthy individuals and families, instead of setting up a trust, often set up a charitable foundation. I think a lot of us know that. We've seen it before. We heard it before. Companies do it all the time. Um, the amounts donated into the foundation qualify for a charitable deduction. Unlike a trust, a foundation has an indefinite life. It goes on until all of its assets are distributed, and this could be more than 100 years. Think of the Ford Foundation, or think about how long the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation might last with assets over $50 billion. Unlike a trust that can only accept a donation from the settlor or grantor, a foundation can accept donations from multiple sources, such as multiple family members. A board of trustees determines which charitable organizations receive contributions from the foundation, and family members can be on the board. So the family members can exert some influence, but they do not have total control. All right. An estate account. The goal of the executor of an estate account is to perform an orderly distribution of estate assets to beneficiaries after paying all liabilities of the estate. During the time period that this takes, which can be years, the executor must strive to earn a reasonable return on the estate's assets. The paperwork needed to open such an account, such the paperwork needed to open such as an account is a certified copy of the death certificate, copy of the last will and testament, and inheritance tax waivers. All right. That is all for this right here. All right, so now that was actually good to end on, because now I'm gonna go into estate planning real quick. Give me 1 second. Yep. All right. Good. All right, so I'm gonna read two articles on estate planning, and then we can go from there. All right, estate planning 101. What is estate planning? Um, Estate planning involves setting up a plan that establishes who will eventually receive your assets. It also makes known how you want your affairs to be handled in the event you are unable to handle them on your own. Hold on, Mo, what's going on? All right, let me start that over. Estate planning involves setting up a plan that establishes who will eventually receive your assets. It also makes known how you want your affairs to be handled in the event you are unable to handle them on your own for any reason. It's a complicated process, and it can definitely feel overwhelming. There are many components to estate planning, and while There's a common misconception that it's just about your finances. The truth is, there's a lot more to it. There's no denying that estate planning seems like a daunting chore, but it's something we all need to face. We've broken the process down into easy to understand sections. Following our estate planning one-on-one guide will give you the security that comes with knowing you plan for the future of your loved ones. Um, okay. And he goes into what is estate planning. Estate planning is simply the process of making it clearly known how you want your estate to be handled after you pass, or if you're incapacitated and unable to handle things on your own. The most common estate planning definition is the process of making plans for the management and transfer of your estate after your death using a will, trust, insurance policies, and or other devices. Estate planning has been around for many years, but it's becoming increasingly more and more common. There are many parts of estate planning, but the first thing you must do is conduct a comprehensive review of your estate assets. Your estate is made up of all the property you own, including cash, cars, clothes, jewelry, houses, investments, savings, retirement accounts, land, and more. After you have a clear idea of what your estate is made up of, you can then begin planning. Basic basics of estate planning. Estate planning is important for many reasons. Perhaps the biggest benefit is if you don't properly prepare for what should happen in the future. While you're sound and capable, you'll have no say in how your estate is handled or what your loved ones receive when that time comes. Planning today ensures your tomorrow is exactly as you envision it. A properly prepared estate plan will lay out your wishes exactly in the most tax advantage manner so you can trust there won't be any questions, misunderstandings, or misconceptions about what you want. Okay, let's see. All right. Most common most common estate planning documents. Several documents will make up your estate plan. Each is important in its own way, and together they form a powerful representation of your final wishes. Guardianship states want you to have states what states what you want to have happen and who you want to care for your children or any other dependent you're responsible for after your death or in the event you're no longer able to care for them. Most often, instructions for guardianship will be included in a section of your will. Will, a legal document that expresses your last wishes for distribution of your property or other assets. Trust, a legal three-party fiduciary agreement that allows the first party, the settlor, also may be referenced as trustor or grantor, to give the second party, the trustee, rights to hold assets and property on behalf of and for the benefit of the third party, the beneficiary. Financial power of attorney, a legal document that gives someone the power to handle your financial affairs. Durable power of attorney, a variation of a financial power of attorney, which is a document that gives legal rights to another person so they can handle any of your non health or non medical affairs. Durable simply means that even if you become incapacitated, the power of attorney remains in effect. Okay. Advanced healthcare directive, also sometimes referred to as a living will or a medical power of attorney. An advanced healthcare directive directly states what, if any, medical action should be taken if you become incapacitated and unable to make your own decisions. Note, it's important to understand that while the terms living will, medical power of attorney, and AHCD, which is Advanced Healthcare Directive, are commonly used interchangeably, there are legal distinctions between them. A living will lets you specify your medical preferences, typically for end of life decisions like life support. A medical power of attorney lets you designate someone else to make healthcare decisions for you if you are unable to do so. Uh, an advanced healthcare directive, one second, combines the living will and medical power of attorney to let you give instructions, but also designate someone else to make decisions for you if needed. All right, HIPAA authorization, consent you give that allows your medical records or information to be shared with the third party. Estate planning and taxes. Much of your estate planning is done with taxes in mind. The ultimate goal is to leave the absolute most you can to your heirs. Strategizing by taking action to minimize assets lost to taxes is an effective way to achieve your goal. There are some tools you can use within your estate plan, including ways to avoid probate and past assets while avoiding hefty taxes. Understanding potential types of taxes is important. Estate tax, a tax imposed on estates worth more than a set value. The tax is only assessed on the amount that exceeds the maximum, not the entire value of the estate. Inheritance tax, a tax paid by someone who inherits either property or money from someone who has died. Gift tax, a tax that's applied on gifts exceeding a certain dollar amount. Note, the giver, not the receiver, is responsible for any tax. Who needs an estate plan? Short answer, everyone. It's easy to try and convince ourselves that we don't need an estate plan, but the reality is we would all be better off if we were planning a little more for our future. You don't need to be wealthy or elderly or even have a specific amount in your bank account to justify the need for a valid estate plan. If you are over the age of 18, you should start thinking about creating a plan. Even if you don't have a lot of assets, your estate plan is a guarantee that everyone will know what your wishes are. Health directives and long term healthcare wishes are perfect examples of this. If you were to ever become incapacitated and could make your wishes known, your estate plan will speak for you so your loved ones don't have to make unthinkable decisions or wonder what you would want. It used to be that properly preparing these types of documents that go in an estate plan could cost you thousands. But now you have options. You can get an affordable, legal, effective, valid estate plan that ensures your wishes will be known should the time ever come it's needed. Even if you don't have a lot of assets, an estate plan is still a wise idea. All right. How to create an estate plan in 12 steps. Yes, there are a lot of steps that go into creating a complete estate plan, but we made it as easy as possible for you by listing each out. One, gather your assets, inventory everything you own, from cars to collectibles. Two, protect your family. Think about if you have adequate life insurance to leave your family in a position where they can maintain the life you currently lead. Three, determine the plan that's best for you. Decide what type of estate plan you need. Four, choose who you would like to be guardian of your children, pets, or self. If you have children or pets, or if you care for another loved one who cannot care for themselves, you want to choose a guardian. You can also name the person you will want to make medical and or financial decisions on your behalf should you ever become unable to do so for yourself. Five, determine and establish the necessary directives. There are several directives you should include in your estate plan, including but not limited to durable power of attorney, medical care directive, limited power of attorney. Uh, LPOAs are less commonly used. Durable power of attorneys are more frequently the norm. Through an LPOA can be appropriate in some instances. Six, name your beneficiaries. Some documents and accounts will have beneficiaries already designated. These could include retirement plans and life insurance policies, to name a few. But there are other assets you should know in your will or trust if you'd like to leave them to a specific person. If there's an opportunity, you should name contingent beneficiaries. Keep in mind that beneficiary designations will only go into effect after you pass. So if you become incapacitated and unable to make decisions, you need to have prepared for more. You need to have prepared for more than simply naming beneficiaries. 7, finding a trusted partner. Explore your options for creating your estate plan. This can be face to face with an attorney, or you may choose to use another service provider. You have options, but some are going to be much more expensive than others. If you don't have an overly complicated estate, working with a partner like Trust and Will would be the perfect solution to starting on the path of estate planning. 8, create your plan. If you're using an online program to create your estate plan, be sure to go through all the steps and finalize everything. 9, sign and notarize your estate plan. Don't forget to check how many witnesses your state requires. 10, notify your executor. It's a good idea to let the person you chose to be your executor know of your intentions. 11, store your estate planning documents. Put your estate plan in a safe place where your loved ones can easily find it. A fireproof safe is a good idea. 12, update is needed over time. There isn't a hard rule about when you should update your estate plan, but a good rule of thumb is to try to update it whenever you have a major life event, birth of a child, death of someone important to your plan, marriage, divorce, and so on. And if you find you haven't had any life events in recent years, try to review and update as needed every 3 to 5 years. All right. Common estate planning mistakes to avoid. Take caution when developing your estate plan. There are many mistakes that could result in delays, inaccuracies, or other misunderstandings. Some of the common mistakes people make along the way include not having an official plan, not updating a plan over time at major lifetime events, not making arrangements for if they become incapacitated, disability, or long-term care, improper ownership of assets, how easy will it be to pass assets on, not including charitable gifts, not appointing a guardian for children or others who would need their care, underestimating the implication of taxes, not having liquidity of assets, not making gifts during their lifetime to reduce the value of the estate after passing, tax advantages, putting their child's name on the deed to property, potentially huge tax implications. All right. A difference between an estate plan and a will. While many people think simply having a will is sufficient, the fact is you need more. If you have a will, you're off to a great start. But a will by itself is just a small piece of the estate planning puzzle. In order to fully protect your loved ones after you pass, you must incorporate all the documents, nominations, and appointments to ensure you've done everything you can to make the process easier on them when the time comes. Other common questions about estate planning. What are beneficiary designations? A beneficiary designation is a way to designate where your assets go after you pass. What does a trustee do? A trustee handles and is responsible for managing all assets or property in a trust. In essence, he or she is the legal owner of said assets. How much does an estate plan cost? The cost of creating an estate plan can widely vary depending on a number of factors. If you go the traditional route and work face to face with an attorney, your costs will be much higher. Newer methods of estate planning include innovative and creative platforms like Trust and Will, where you can get a legal estate plan at a fraction of the cost. Do you need an attorney to create an estate plan? In some cases, you do not need an attorney to create your estate plan. If you have a very complicated estate, you may opt to go the traditional face to face route. but many people have simple, straightforward needs. They may find a service like Trust and Will is ideal for their estate planning needs. It can save time and money while still offering a superior product that touches on all the important things you want to take care of with your estate plan. Though there are many parts to a complete estate plan, tackling them one at a time is the best way to draft a plan that's conclusive, comprehensive, thorough, and that protects everyone in your life you love. All right. That is estate planning. Definitely a lot of information there. Um, this other one, I have other article. I don't think I need to read that. That's pretty much the same thing. Just discussing, estate planning, why it's important, the purpose and the documents needed for it. Talking about your will and testament, the trust and power of attorney and all of that stuff. So, um, pretty much the same thing. But yeah, man, this stuff is important. I definitely want to go over this and share this information about you know
All right, Chris, I'm tuned in.
huh.
I said I'm tuned in.
Okay. Well, no, I just went over like
I heard you.
uh, oh, you did. Okay. So there was a part in there I was discussing, you know what, remember you was talking about, you know business income, what you could put your business money in and
Yeah.
all of that. So I don't know if you caught it, but the DAF is probably something you could use.
Was DAF?
Yeah, it's a donor advised fund, basically.
Oh, yeah. I caught that the last time when we did it the other day.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, when you was going over the stuff. Remember, I was looking it up as you went.
Uh-huh. Okay. And then they have different kind of charitable trusts too. So those are, recommendations or vehicles that, people park their money in, when it comes to, their tax and their tax money. Not paying taxes. They do this a lot. So it's just how you do it. But you really can't do it illegally, but you can do it legally if you know what to put it in. So, damn, it's dark as hell in my room. But so we went over that. We talked about the different type of trusts, the different accounts that people can have. Of course, you can have an individual account. You can have a joint account with rights of survivorship, tenant by entireties, and tenants of common. So they basically they have multiple people. Uh, one specifically for couples or marriages, people who are married, business partners, which is the tenants in common, and the just the regular joint account with rights to survivorship. Like I said, that could be family oriented, be boyfriend, girlfriend, could be husband and wife, be your cousin, your uncle, whatever the case is. But it those accounts are to bind y'all the people together, and there's certain rules and regulations on how, if let's say somebody was suing you, in certain accounts, they could take 50% if that was the case of that account, just because of how the account you have. And then
Right.
there's some there where they will, tax just you, the person, as a single entity when there's multiple entities on that account. So, and then we went into estate planning and trust and wills, having a power of attorney, irrevocable trust, revocable trust. I just read about that. So people can, really understand, need these type of accounts to, keep your legacy alive if you care about legacy. And I think Black people need to care about their legacy. And with these type of accounts, you ain't got to worry about GoFundMe. You just open it up, start funding it, and if something happens, then you can cover it, and you don't have to embarrass yourself by going to social media and asking people to donate for a funeral.
That's true. I know.
Life
Funny you
insurance.
saying that because I was just checking my stash and my Acorns. Because I had increased. I'm trying to get to that 10% savings. I think I'm at 80% or maybe 90%. Trying to get to that 10% savings, and I'm doing really good. I'm so proud of myself. Woo-hoo. And I'm teaching my niece and nephew how to look up the stocks and look for dividends and see what's the best bang for their buck.
Right.
They save it as well on the GoHenry app. So yes.
Oh yeah, GoHenry, baby. Acorns does have GoHenry for the kids. Get your kids involved, man. And like I was just saying, as long as you're over 18, you can open an account. I mean, you can start estate planning. It don't hurt. It really don't hurt. What you want to happen with your assets. What you want done before, planned out before you leave this earth. So, we went over that a little bit, and talking about the certain people that you have, guarding your assets, like the trustee, the settlor, the grantor, um, so forth and so on. Having a trust document, all that stuff is beneficial. Also talked about what is it? The family limited partnership account. Basically, the parents are the general partners. They manage the account, and then you have the limited partners, which are the children, and you just donate, assets to the trust or whatever. And you set that up with, all the documents. The main stuff is, having this stuff documented, having this stuff written down, notarized, and you have
safe deposit.
right. It's on file. We got to stop taking these ideas and.
Chris, I'm about to make you the host real quick because I got to answer this call.
Oh,
just let me back in. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'll make what I'm supposed to do.
Nothing.
Oh. Well, no, I was just saying that, we got to stop, taking these, just having ideas and stuff and put the stuff down on paper. We can't do nothing with it orally. It sounds good, but it don't make it legal. And like I said, people can come after your assets or whatever it is, and it'd be family members you ain't never heard of, never talked to, but they your family, and they can come and claim anything that's yours. So, and don't think that, like the article said, don't think that, you don't have something that is considered an asset. Because we went down the list of what's considered an asset and what you could put in a trust and your estate. All that stuff is important. So hopefully, people got some value out of this because, you know, this might be a conversation you need to have with your significant other, your wife, your husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, mama, daddy, grandma, uncle, auntie, grandpa, so forth and so on. This is the type of stuff y'all should be discussing at holidays. You know, ain't saying you can't shoot the shit, but this type of stuff should be discussed every holiday. And not only discussed, but actually acting it out, applying it, and getting it done. Seriously. All it takes is one person to say, hey, I think we need to do this. And that person might be, the youngest of the group, and they may take on the financial burden of putting it together and then, doing what needs to be done. Because, like I said, somebody got to keep the legacy alive, or somebody got to care about legacy. You know, and that's really what it comes down to. Somebody got to care about legacy. You know, who gonna be the one to change the cycle? You know, who's tired of you know incorporating or passing down bad habits to the next generation and not really giving them the keys, an inheritance. Man, I know so many of my friends, rich, wealthy people, they got an inheritance. Ain't got to work. Some of them got the family business. Uh, you know, whatever case. My man's in PG County. He your brother. Family is wealthy. But guess what? They practice this stuff. Somebody did it. Somebody in his family decided, hey, I'm finna set my family up. I'm gonna make sure we good. I'm gonna make sure, my grandkids is good, my great grandkids, so forth and so on. Somebody gotta sacrifice and be the one that started. And some people out there, well, I got to sacrifice. Okay, don't then. Don't. Just keep complaining about, what's not in your favor. You know, somebody got to do it though, man. At the end of the day. If your parents ever told you, or your grandparents, or any family member ever told you, man, we want better for you. We want you to do better than us. Man, that's saying something. Then you need to actually do that. And you the only one that's gotta believe it that you can actually make the change. Do the 360. Somebody gotta want it. Somebody gotta do it. Why not you? Like we gotta really start passing down these type of behaviors. Cause the other ethnic groups, they do it all the time. They do it all the time. They family got rules and regulations itself.
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah. So yeah, man, you know. Somebody got to change the cycle. Be the change you want to see.
That is so true. And embrace education and information. Don't be so knowledgeable that you and the world makes changes. Every time somebody changes a position or get promoted, they change the lingo. So you have to stay up. And so definitely if you're like in business, especially if you're self-employed and you're in business, you need to go to conferences. You need to join the Minority Contractors Association. You need to at least go to one of the small business events so you can stay up on what's current. What are they looking for? Because a lot of times we miss opportunities and we can't get the money we need to invest because we're not capitalizing. We're not capitalizing because we're outdated. So in order
Right.
to stay relevant, to make overflow money, cash flow. We call it MyEcon cash flow. In order to cash flow, you're gonna have to stay relevant. And you can't
Right.
stay relevant. If you don't have no cash flow, you can't invest.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank period. So if you using your entire check for expenses, then you have to go through your accounts, come up with a budget until you free up money. And even if you're only freeing up five, $10, it will work itself out along the way. And you look again, now you're freeing up $100. Now you're freeing up $500. Look again, you're freeing up 1,000. You're like, oh snap, I'm on the road. you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And even if you're not using the whole 500 for retirement, maybe a percentage of that, 10% of that you use towards retirement and other lifestyle, or maybe 50-50. Like everything you said or listening in on, if you're listening long enough, I know a lot of people, they be like, oh, we can't listen to y'all because y'all be talking over here. Well, we scaled back. Well, I scaled back on our conversation to keep it relevant so that
Mm.
and we repeating ourselves because it's important. And it's important because we watch people come before us every day. We have generations in the workforce, right? 3 and 4 generations in the workforce working together. And if I'm not sure you pay attention to this, Chris, but do you kind of notice that in corporations, they're letting people go right before their retirement and offering
Mm-hmm.
severance
Yep.
so they don't get that check for a lifetime? That means
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know how to leverage that lump sum of money to last you, then you're living off of Social Security. You're gonna have to live off that Social Security check, which could be less than 2,200, 1,800, in some people cases 1,200 a month.
Right.
That
That's
is
tough.
no, and that's how we get into poverty. That's how we get into low income. Back to our conversation last night, low income housing,
Right.
affordable housing, because in the younger years or on shows like this, where we're talking about how to take a little bit of your money and where to put it so that you can be squared away in your 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Right.
Because I've watched when I was working for the state, South Carolina, I've watched almost our whole agency were baby boomers. It was only a few of us, Gen X, and I was like, why are these people still working? Like they're in their 60s. And why am I echoing? Oh, you got two
Mm.
things for her? Um, I was like, why are they still working in their 60s? Like they should be, if they are working, it should be something like laid back, chill type deal, right? Part time. But they were still working in their 60s because they couldn't afford to retire. Because if they retire, that means some benefits are going to be taken away. That means no more free medical, no
Right.
more, no, I mean, not free, but, no more job plan, medical, no health care plan, no dinner plan, some of the incentives, bonuses, and things of that nature, which you would normally get. Those things are out the window. So some people, they will retire and come back and work as part-time because
Right.
they couldn't leave it. And so you would think that your kids would look at that and say, okay, now how can I make this work differently for me? And the things that when I tell my niece and nephew, I say the things that you guys find boring, you need to build a tolerance for. And I never forget a friend of mine, she said, I had to build a tolerance for reading instructions, reading policy, reading, new material, because that's what was giving me uh pay increases. That's what was giving me promotions. The things that I didn't want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So to say you went through all that content and information and one person is viewing, then that tells you when people sit around, they say, well, what are we gonna do? What are the solutions? How does that help? How does that help our community? Well, you have to ask yourself. Sometimes I think people just embarrassed, Chris, to be honest with you. I think they're embarrassed, they don't know how to start, and they're too scared to say they have not started.
Right. Yep.
That's what I think. I think that because I mean I can remember being that person, didn't
Mm.
so I just figured I'd start somewhere. And even though I have military retirement, but still, I still needed to put some funds away, you know. So when I
Mm-hmm.
did the $5 thing, and it was hard, boy, I didn't want to give up 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
But once
You
once I
sure
got
did.
the little once I got that bug though, I still was penny pinching, but I seen that money grow. And then when I got to and everybody's making more money than me, but I didn't care because I thought I was doing good. So
Right.
when I got to 10,000 shit, I thought I was balling. Because I was so proud of myself that I was doing it off of a $5 investment move. So I was like, shoot, I got it going on. And then I went and bought that Genesis or whatever, because my expenses are taken care of. But at the end of the day, most people will be like, when I roll up to the flea market, and people be like, why are you selling jewelry? You driving a Genesis? I said, because that's my spending money. I ain't tapping into the stash because I got the discipline now. I'm disciplined enough to say, okay, I can put away $300 and not have to go touch it. I'm a little bit more disciplined, so I won't touch it. So I said,
Right.
okay, if I need some extra money, I need to get out here and sell these smoothies, or I need to get out here and sell this jewelry.
Right.
I don't care what y'all got going on. I'll be at the flea market. Because guess what? At the end of the month, I got a niece that's graduating. And we got a cruise we going on. Paparazzi has a convention. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we need to have us some cash. We ain't going into no savings. We gonna
Right.
go earn it, and I make them earn their part, and then I have mine. So you know, that's how we getting down. But that came with I think you said that last night is discipline. If you don't build up a tolerance for discipline in your own budget for your personal self, how you gonna partner with somebody?
Mm-hmm.
How you gonna have a standard for somebody you ain't got no your discipline in your own life with your finances? Just you gotta start there because that's what drives the world.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Labor and capital. you
Simple
know?
thing. I'm just like, man, I was like, I gotta be tired of passing down the same bad behaviors, man. I'm just like, it's not providing no fruit, it's no benefit. I don't know, what's so good about passing down debt and no assets.
Ooh.
Got people fighting over, who should get what. I'm just like, this is insane.
Mm,
It's insane because the person that died with the assets didn't lay out properly what they wanted done.
mm,
That's what I
mm,
was saying. Somebody gotta come in there and sacrifice and be the change and be like, hey, we gonna take this and do the right thing with it. We're gonna create a plan, we're gonna create a trust, we're gonna create a will. You can be discussing this at your holidays. You can shoot the shit, but it's time to get serious too.
exactly.
I'm just like, man, I would be embarrassed if I had to go online and ask people for donations to bury somebody.
It happens.
People ain't got no shame
Mm-hmm.
setting up GoFundMe. And
They don't.
sometimes they be scammed.
It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. If you don't have no standards, if you don't have no morals, no standards, no principles, no values, then they're not embarrassed.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah, we have to mind our own emotions about it because these people not even concerned. But we're like, okay, we putting in effort to share information so that they can get out their situation. They looking at you like, okay, what's your point? Like, and you're like, well, you don't you wanna? No, I don't.
Right.
And the frustrating part is that you're looking at it like, man, how could you even think like that? Like, why would you want to live like that? Well, for them, they have a whole different perspective on it. And that's the frustrating part about a life, right? That you can come across people that it doesn't really matter to them. But for you withholding the stance of saying, dang, I don't want to be like that. I want to live a little different. Yeah. Or I would be embarrassed if that was my position, but they're not. And that's the hard part. You know, where's the millions of people that do care? Like, why we got to be surrounded by the knuckleheads?
Exactly. What happened to Brandon? I just seen him come on here.
He did.
Yeah, I seen the thing pop up. I don't know what happened. Anyway, eh,
Well, yeah, be. You must have impressed it.
oh, I'm the host.
Yeah, give it back to me. I'll do
Oh,
it.
no wonder. I wonder because I was wondering why you didn't let him in.
Remember, I told you I had to take a call.
Yeah, I remember. Hold on, I relinquished the host.
Click on my name, and then click
Oh
make
yeah.
make the host.
Okay, I got you. All right, but yeah, that's yeah, you on point with that. We ain't gonna never come to common ground with somebody without no morals or any of that. It ain't gonna happen. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I understand why people be trying to talk to people and try to get them to understand, and y'all ain't even on the same playing field or understand. Y'all ain't even on the same wavelength. So why would
Exactly.
you burn your energy out trying to convince these people?
Mm.
Even though, you know, this stuff right here is a need. It ain't no debating that. It ain't no, oh man, I think you should try it. No, ain't no trying it, motherfucker. You need it.
You
You
need
need
it.
it
Say it
bad.
again.
You
Yeah,
need it.
ain't that crazy?
Yeah. Got to convince you to protect yourself and what you got. That's insane.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Crazy.
Yeah. So, you know, people out here talking about relationships and, this and that. I'm like, man, what do you own? What are you doing? What are you doing with yourself? Because people think the economy is a game. You know, everything is cool right now, but 10 years pass, 15 years pass, you know, uh, you getting priced out of the labor market or whatever the case is, you know, you played around, didn't stack up, you didn't put stuff in place. And now, like you said earlier, you get cut off and get a severance pay or end up on, Social Security. I'm just like, man, y'all don't really think that, you gonna get old and you think you just gonna be able to earn the money now. What happened? Oh, it's Brandon. What's up,
That's
Brandon?
better.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
What up,
Good.
B?
You all right?
Y'all good?
Yeah, we good.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, keep preaching. Keep preaching, Pastor.
Uh,
Brandon.
no, no, bro, I'm for real. I'm dead ass serious. People just don't think they gonna get old. They just don't think they gonna get
Wait,
old. They think that this is
hold on.
just gonna be the life right here.
Wait, Chris. Forget old. What about life changing experiences?
Well, that too.
Life changing experiences.
Yeah,
You know,
that shit happens.
do y'all notice? I don't know if y'all notice, but I noticed a lot of people are popping up with the autoimmune deficiencies, lupus,
Yep.
Guillain-Barré, um
What the hell is that?
Guillain-Barré is what Garfield daughter had, the where it affects your, I think, your nervous system. Like one
Uh huh.
day you walk in, the next day you try to get up and you can't walk. It puts you
Oh,
down. Man, you got to go through a rehab and everything. Like we know somebody right now. She she has it all of a sudden. They had to take custody of her baby. She's in the rehab facility now. Try
dang.
to put it together. Yeah, it takes you out bad. So a lot of like a lot of females I know being diagnosed with lupus now, you know, like a lot of people be clowning about the whole health thing, but like a lot of life changing things are happening. So just good thing. Um, some people, some people have they're in a retirement year so that they can retire. They get their social security, or they on a federal job, a state job, and things of that nature. But what about those people who are not? What about those people working for private sector and they come across a ailment, that's life changing? People are not getting to retirement 60s and 70s and 80s no more. Things are happening prior to that. Things are happening in our 40s, 50s,
Yep.
you know. And so if we don't take the time to take saving serious, I know it's hard. I know you don't want to give up that money, but you gotta start thinking about it in some type of way. Envelope, $5 a day, a penny a day. I don't care how you do it. You
Right.
got to start conditioning your mind to say, I don't have $100. I actually have 80, or
Right.
I should have 90.
Right. But no, Mo, that we ain't worried about that, man. Let's uh let's look up this you know, Ramses the second. Ramses the second, he had the same DNA as, you know, uh Akhenaten. And, my DNA match Akhenaten. So that means I'm from Kemet.
Mhm.
Uh Ain't nobody worrying about all that shit, Mo. Uh shit, I'm trying to get turned.
Mm.
Uh this is the stuff you hear. I'm trying to catch flights, not feelings.
Mm.
Okay. And I just really wonder, uh, do people really pay attention to statistics? I'm just like, in every category, niggas is down at the bottom when it comes to wealth planning and finance, all that stuff.
Because we want to live off the grid. We don't want to run our name through the system. So we're not being accounted for and we're not filling out the census.
Right. And some of them, you know, I'm just, it's a real headache. It's a real pain how people operate. And, what you got on it, Brandon?
Who do you talk about, far as this conversation, or you talking about? It's it's conditioned, if anything. People being this is what Momoa alluded to about saving $100 instead of saving 100 to 80. People are not conditioned.
Right.
So I mean, once you know, I think I said this before. The past, all this stuff is just is all psychological. Like, you have to get your mind right before you start saving. And a lot of people don't want to go through that steps and try to physically set their focus to one main objective that's important to them, as far as like saving. The easiest thing in the world, saving is the easiest thing in the world to do. People don't want to do it. Oh, them Jordans coming out, I need them. Oh man, we about to hit the club this weekend.
Mm.
You'll save for the club, but you won't save for the future, like what you guys are talking about. So, you know, the question becomes is like, how do you get out of that phone call? How do you get out of that mindset? And to me, it's the hardest thing in the world. It's damn near almost like taking drugs that you're trying to get off of. I mean, you have to physically fight tooth and nail just to save. I see people at work doing that shit. I got a guy right now I know of who's trying to get a piece of property out like in Ottawa, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
It's cheapest property in the world, but he ain't got a damn nickel to his name. He told me the other week, like 2 weeks ago, me and him we worked at Target together. We started our 401ks together. I had 30,000 in it. He had 40,000, no 50,000. All his savings is gone.
Wow.
Now he wants to talk to me about investing. I
Huh.
was like, bro, I already told you this 4 or 5 times what to do. And what's crazy is he's a vet and he's afraid to take that VA loan or do that VA loan thing.
He crazy as hell.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, you got options. Like, you got options I don't have.
He crazy as hell. He ain't getting his benefits.
He ain't getting damn benefits. I don't know if he left the
He been to war.
he was in Desert Storm.
He crazy as hell.
So I don't know if he knows about it. But the thing is he has a green card though. I don't know if that affect him anyway.
Oh, you got a
Uh,
citizen yet?
well, no, he's been a citizen. He just has a green card. He's been telling me for the longest that's been affecting his
I'm
VA
gonna find.
benefits, whatever.
I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, and I'm like, he keeps coming to me about investment. I was like, dude, you've been talking to me damn near. I know him what damn near 10 years, 11 years. I'm like, dude, you've been talking about this for the longest. When you gonna actually act on it? He's one of the ones I told y'all probably like 2 weeks ago that bought into XRP.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
put $50 into it. That's his first investment in venture ever.
Wow. They're trying to tell you about investing.
Right.
Yeah, that's funny. That's insane. This man is insane.
You know what get me?
What's
Like
that?
you say, in your 401k, you had 30K, right? If you tell
Mm,
somebody in 10 years, if you put away 100 or 200 in your 401k in 10 years, you have about 30K, right? They'll say, that ain't no money. And you say, okay, if you don't do nothing in 10 years, how much you think you going to have?
nothing. But like that's not even the bad part about it. Everybody thinks, oh, you've been at that job for 10 years and that's all you got. Yeah, but I know how to get another bag off of that bag.
Right.
See,
Let's say if I want to take half of that is still sitting at 401k, put it in a Roth, you
dividends.
know, dividends, whatever you want,
Right.
Mhm.
$15,000 off of 30. dividends, I'm gonna say what at 5%. What is that like? $100, $200, you're getting that in,
Mhm.
depending on which stock you choose. You get it every month or quarterly or whatever it is. It could be $100, it could be $50. That's residual income that's coming in, not residual.
Right.
I mean, it is residual income, but it's not income on my level. I'm talking about like $2,000, but it's money. It's something coming in. It could be $30 a month, or $20, $5. It doesn't matter. It's money coming in. And then after saving, you got to create this mindset of, all right, where else can I redirect my investments and savings? Even if you don't want to play the stock market piece, you got real estate. You got what else? You got real estate. You
Stock,
can
bonds, real estate,
right.
Hmm.
You can start your
crypto,
own company,
crypto.
crypto.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
start
can
your own
do
company. Hmm.
right. You can do immense amount of things.
Commodities.
Right,
Commodities. Hmm.
right. You can do all this other stuff off of my phone or off of that 401k. A
Right.
lot of people don't think about. If anything, these investments are vehicles to get you to that next level in life. Somebody said that,
Hmm.
and I swear to God, I'm gonna find that quote or I'm gonna find that video. Somebody said these like 401ks, Roth IRAs. You talk about what was it yesterday? Oh, not the other day.
DSP,
Yep. What was the student one? 50 uh
529.
529. I heard
Mm-hmm.
they're doing something with that now. They are changing it into a Roth.
Mm-hmm. But
Hmm.
some people kids are not going to school, so they trying to get them, make sure they
Keep that
still be
money.
able to get the money out. Mm-hmm.
Shit. I mean, like all these vehicles and all these things that you can do with these investment vehicles, but people are too lazy to learn it.
Hmm. It's boring.
Like I don't understand. Learning how to make money is boring.
Mm.
Huh. Huh.
Make that make sense. Making
While
money
you
is boring.
sleep too. While you
Why you
sleep.
sleep? I don't get this shit to save my life. Like if I knew this shit in high school and like
Say it
seriously, like
again.
I know a lot of people say this, but if I known this in high school, oh Brandon, y'all shit. Brandon been on a different level.
Whole
And the
nother
only
level.
person that opened my eyes to this whole in high school was my one of my teachers. She used to work at
Mhm.
CBOE Chicago. Like she
Break it
broke it
up.
down for me. She said she used to trade and what was it? Orange juice commodities. She was on the floor.
Yeah.
She didn't have to teach. She didn't have to be a teacher. She was rich already. She lived right next door. If you guys looked up Allen B. Shepherd like on Google Maps and then look right next door, I think her house was like that. The one right across the street.
Sure.
She
I'm
had a
finna
house
do
there,
it.
and, and then she had a house in Michigan, or no, summer home in Michigan or something like that. She had
See?
money.
See, that's
They don't tell you though. They don't tell you though. But they got money. And like she was cool as shit. And I don't know why I didn't take up on her offer. She said, "You want me to teach you this?" I was like, "Nah." I mean, it sounds interesting, but that's my fault. And like
yeah.
every day, I want to say I regret it a little bit, but I don't
Yeah.
because I'm learning shit now.
Right.
And that's something else people need to stop doing. They need to stop harping and showing like self pity for themselves
Right.
because they didn't learn it or they ain't got time to learn it or they should have learned it way back. Bro, you still on this side of the dirt. You need to stop playing
Yep.
and get this done. Because if y'all got kids, y'all got family members that you know is gonna have a trouble time at retirement age, and you think you ain't gonna have enough money when
Mm-hmm.
your retirement time comes up,
Yep.
you need to
Mm-hmm.
put the damn gas pedal.
Well, I say, man, people think it's a game, bro.
It's not. And it's funny because you see all these jobs like it's there in plain sight. It's hidden, but it's in plain sight. All these
Right.
job numbers and shit like they're talking about, oh, we hiring, but well, Google just laid off 100 people.
Bro,
Then
they
again,
hired, but it's part time.
yep,
Oh, right. But
yep.
no,
What you gonna do with that?
man, you
You
can't
can't
do
pay
shit
the
with
rent.
right. Who else laid
All
off
that
people?
part
Apple
time.
laid off some people.
What I said earlier, Chris. I said they eh,
They're fudging the
um
fucking numbers. Sorry.
they seen us saving they seen us saving money in all these investment vehicles and decide they's gonna go into inflation, and they force you into two-party households. They forcing you to move together with somebody because they
Mm,
want to drain your pockets.
yep.
So if they're taking what you, because if rent was 700 before the pandemic and now it's 1400 now and it doubled, they want your
Yeah.
check and their check. They
That's the
don't
Yeah.
want
smartest and that's the smartest strategic move the government
yeah,
can make.
yes, yes. That's
And
what
people
it is.
Yeah.
don't see it as that.
Nope, because only thing they whining about is everything expenses as opposed to saying, okay, how can I make some adjustments? Because when they make adjustments, I gotta make adjustments.
Right.
It's basically a game that you play Monopoly. You're playing the game
Word.
Monopoly.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
You ever imagine looking in law, you got the what is it, law library or Congress library, whatever it is, with
Hmm.
all these different books and rules and laws and regulations. I never forget when I became an auditor, I said, now who the hell learned all this? Nobody knows all this stuff. They just make the shit up as they go.
Hmm.
Right.
They
Hmm.
have to
all,
because it really don't make
all
any sense.
right. All made up, but guess what? We have to live by it. We have to govern ourselves, you know, according to it. We created it. And so we have to live by it. But in the same sense, is do you want to live comfortably or do you want to be miserable? Do you have a do you have a secondary something you can do? Like Brandon, I know you drop ship. Chris sell his
Mm.
sneakers. I'll sell my jewelry or my smoothies. So at any given point, if you weren't working a regular job, you still have something you could fall on and go get it. We know how to trade. I'm not as good as y'all, but I do know how to make some money from it.
And more too. It's not on top of that. It's not about that. About like being good at somebody else. It's the fact that you know how to do it.
Right,
You know what you're looking for.
right.
So I mean,
Hmm.
like most people don't even know nothing about trading. You decided to stick with it. You decided to jump on the bandwagon and you know be in them classroom with brother Emporium and learn that stuff
Hmm.
and still doing your contracting stuff on the side
Right.
or your full time gig. That was you.
Falling asleep and everything.
Oh yeah, you snoring. We heard it.
I said, African reporter just let me sleep too. And then I'd wake up and start talking like I ain't do nothing.
Yeah,
I
right.
said, it,
Yeah.
I said, it slept for a
Like
whole
what?
hour.
Yeah.
Talk
You
about
know
what
that's your
happened.
favorite thing to do.
He would just be going on and on and on. I've been and fell asleep. I've been and woke up. And he'd be like, hey, sis Mo, like I ain't never happened.
Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
They used to be the funniest thing. Well, you know what? I start my niece and nephew off with the Yahoo Finance, how to look up the tickers and stuff,
Hmm.
and how to go and just the simplest thing, how much the stock costs, what how much percentages gain in a year, 5 years, 10 years. Does it have a dividend? Does it have, what's the market cap? Does it have money? Does it something that look like you want to do? Okay, let's buy something. Let's see what it does or whatever, and get them just kind of get them excited. Then some point I teach them how to read the charts, but you know, it
Shit, they
just
might learn that on their own.
that's true. That's true. That's true. Because sometimes they get the classes in school. Yeah,
Yep.
that's true. What's cool though is them the graphs. Once you grasp the understanding, like, okay, I know I can't spend it all. I have to spend some. I never can spend all. I have to give
Hmm.
some. You know, and that's what will work That's what would work. If you just start somewhere, honestly, people just have to start somewhere. But in the same sense, guess what? You got to set you gotta have some type of value system that pushes you into that though. If you don't care about nothing, man, you ain't starting nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think it's everybody else gotta take care of you.
like that's where this thing comes in, where everybody asks you something. And sometimes I notice like people who really do care ask you this question: "What's your why?"
Hmm.
Right? And I really never got that question. I'm like, what the hell are you talking
Hmm.
about? Why? Because I need this money. That's why. Right?
Say it again.
Right. I
Right.
need this money. But like that question gets more valuable every time you hear it.
Yep.
Like, damn,
Yep.
my family, myself, kids.
Mm-hmm.
I know I ain't gonna
Hmm.
have it when I get older. I'm trying to get it now.
Hmm. Yes,
That
that is
that's your why.
key. Cause man, that looks so. I was just telling Chris before you came on how I work for the state, and a lot of the people in the job were baby boomers, and they were still working. I used to ask them why they still working, because they couldn't afford to stop. And I was like, man, I gotta figure out how to get another trade because I can't make nothing. I'm not creative. And then that's when they introduced me to paparazzi and my econ. And I said, oh, I can make some money now.
Yeah.
I got me a little side gig. you know.
Mm-hmm.
And with my injury, I was telling my nephew, I was like, with my injury, I would still pack my truck and go to the flea market and do what I gotta do. Come back by 200-300 bucks. Man, guess that's my hair, nails, and my eyebrows and my feet.
Right.
Shoot, you can't tell me nothing. And I didn't touch my account. you know?
Ain't touched the account.
Mm-mm. Don't even have to call my man and say, hey, can you get my hair done, my nails done, my feet done? By the time he figured out I've been and did, he'd be like, nah, I know I said I was gonna pay for that. I'd be like, shit, I done made that money at the flea market. I'm about to go get my stuff. I'm good.
Right.
Why? Because I had to build a discipline out of my checks to save money. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. I tell myself. I remember in 2020, it was January 2020. And y'all was like, Mo, you put the money in the account. Stash gave you $20.
Right. Make
Mm-hmm.
you stingy.
How much you gonna invest? I'm gonna put five in Ford, five over here in McDonald's, five over
Girl
it
didn't
was
want to let that go, boy.
uh, yeah, because you know what? It was just a matter. It was more thinking. It was more thinking about the risk than get work thinking about the reward. And so the reward was not. I was just like, oh, this not gonna happen. Da 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 da. But when I start thinking on the reward, not not forgetting the risk, but mitigating it. When I start thinking about it that way, I was like, shoot, okay, if I see the reward and the reward became relevant and appealing, I'm like, okay, I could do this. My little numbers is rising. Like I got my Acon and my stash back up to par again now. I'm like, shoot, I'm doing good. Okay, now the discipline is okay. You put the money now. You purchase the stock or you purchase the investment plan or you wrote out the estate plan and all that stuff. Okay, now is sustainment. How you gonna sustain? How you gonna pretend it doesn't exist as it grows? Do you have enough discipline to have something at your exposure that you can withdraw at any time and still be successful with it, still grow your money, still, see your capital increase? And that's the part, once you do the first part, you let that money go, then after that, it's like, okay, now once it's there, now don't touch it. Now you got to psychologically redirect so that you can make sure that you have more later. And I think that's where the people get stuck at. Like they start, but then they'll withdraw. And then they'll withdraw everything and then they don't have anything,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So you gotta get over that, get to that point where okay, you're now deposited into your vehicle, your investment vehicle or your retirement plan and then now it's like, okay, now, how do I remain relevant? How do I make more money each year and then watch it grow over time? But if you don't, and you have them big old fat numbers, and you're not really paying attention, you kind of become mediocre, or you just kind of fall in the boat of the same people. Because I don't care how many people you talk to, I don't care how many times we go live, how many people know that you are investing. There's still gonna be somebody in your circle that is not doing it,
And you know what? At that point, I don't give a damn. I
right?
told you, I told you 2 or 3 years when I'm doing, you know, here at my house. They see my statements from Detroit coming in. They open them up. They see them, and I'm not mad. But when I tell them, hey, open you up something, go ahead and say you up $1,000 or something, I can help you out with that. Say they do it? Nope.
Mm.
I don't. And it's crazy how you speak on it so much, and they wave it off. But when like something in the news happens, and they want to know more about it, they come straight to you. Oh, did you hear this? I'm like, yeah, that happened. What, that happened today? No, actually, that happened last week.
Mm.
That happened on the last earnings. Well, that was like the news way back, so that already happened. Like right
Mm.
now, I'm telling my uncle to get into Amazon stocks, and he works at Amazon. Amazon just
Mm.
had a great pullback, and now I think he, like last time I told him, it was like 157. That was like 186 right now, I think.
Oh, let me check my little stuff. Hold on. Let's find out what's going on over here.
And I told him that probably around like March or February, something like that. Still dragging
Ooh.
his feet, still dragging his feet on it. I was like, all right, when you're ready, I'm not gonna beg you to pick your pockets. I'll let you know that you have a special, I won't say special offering, but like a special bonus benefit where you can get like stocks cheaper than the actual public because he works for Amazon.
All
I
right.
was like, if you want to do it, let me know. I can set that up for you. No, I don't want to spend all that money. All right,
You were about the wrong stuff. Ain't your money.
yeah,
Mhm.
all right. Well, I got bills. Nigga, everybody got bills. Everybody gonna have bills. And if y'all worried about bills, they gonna be there when you die. So,
Sure will.
the only thing you gonna do with them bills is just pass them over to your kids and they don't worry somewhere.
Mhm.
My
So I
homeboy
mean,
said, get something you gonna enjoy because you ain't gotta worry about it. You gonna be gone this month.
right. It's no point in worrying for now versus worrying for the future. If you're worrying for now, you got a big problem
Mhm.
because that means you don't have it right now.
Right.
Either bills, you know, uh, it's just bills, family issues. If you're gonna work on stuff now to predict the future, then you're in a good spot. Case in point, doing our investment thing, talking to the people about investing now. That's one of those instances, instances where you should start working on now and try to predict the future.
Yo, make some projections,
And
you know, and so that goes back. I think I had did a show on negotiating your salaries for high schools. That the reason you want to make sure you have um let's say um um something you want to do in the future, right? You could, if you start practicing and allotting that money away until you get it, then you won't have to worry about it later because you get in such a good habit of doing it, saving to get. When somebody asks me, it's like, why you always moving around so much and traveling? Are you low key rich? I say, nah. I say, nah. I got a habit. If I want to do something, I save the money to do it. So sometimes I have to move back to back, but I'm saving it. I'm not saying, oh, well, let me go get a loan and then let me go buy my plane ticket, Or I'm not calling such and such saying, let me get a loan and then go, nope. I've disciplined myself to say, nope, if you want to do it, then you need to save the money to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you went to Italy, Brandon,
Mhm.
did you save to go to Italy or you have a travel
I did both.
fund? Did both. See?
Did both. I took some money out of my acorns, and then I had like 25 saved up,
Uh-huh.
Mm,
2,500 saved up, and then I took the money stuck out. I was set. I still had money when I came back.
that's what I'm talking about. That was just to make sure because you going overseas, make sure you got that cushion.
Right, right. I didn't have what 1,000 and some change. Like I'm
Yeah.
not, I just,
Shouldn't travel overseas with no cash.
right. No, that's a no go. Give it granted, having my cousin over there, as far as like room and board did help me out too, but he has 3 kids and a wife. I told him first thing I'm doing is buying you groceries. That's what I
Yeah.
did. I went there, we bought like $300 worth of groceries. We ate there, we ate out, we moved around. I mean, it's that I give a lot of credit to myself, for continuing on my education as far as like investing because it appears into different other aspects of my life. Like me being more nicer. Back in the day, Brandon would have bought groceries for no damn body.
Say it again.
Not a damn soul. I know that for a fact. If anything, I'm the nigga. I'm the first nigga in the house doing the fridge. But
What's
it's
up,
just
Price?
price in the building.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
What's up, Price?
What's going on, brother?
Just chilling, brothers, chilling.
Yeah, man. I was talking about Brandon was going in, telling us about his illustrious trip to Italy, where he went over there and claimed uh King Black Man vengeance.
Oh, definitely. I definitely tried to go to a strip club, but my cousin's wife was having that. So she's like, he can't be out all night. Damn, you like this? He, he thought she
Doing
was
the
black.
Lord's work over there. I see you.
Damn, he
Got
thought she
the first
think she was
law
black.
of doing the Lord's work in other countries is to be fruitful and multiply.
Nah, he
Chapter
need to stop
one,
that shit.
the
He
Book
need
of
to stop
Dre.
that shit.
Oh man, I was talking about trust and stuff earlier, and Mo and Brandon started chiming in on, they was talking about their savings and all of that good stuff, man. Putting good behaviors into practice and seeing the fruits of it.
I agree. I'm about to run that back to hear that part on the trust.
Yeah,
I like that trust in the estate plan and stuff.
yeah.
Chris did a good job with it.
Appreciate it. That's the legacy, man.
Exactly, bro.
That's something that's got to get like repeated like 3, 4 weeks times in a row. You know,
Yeah.
get that lingo down pat.
And mine was the short version compared to, McKee's. And McKee did, that was about 3 hours or more long, but nothing but straight fire. I tried to get one of my homeboys uh to listen to it and really, set him up with talking to her to get his stuff started. But I can't believe people that be having this man got, I think, seven kids. he make over 6 figures, but he worked offshore, so he gone a lot.
Mm.
One of his sons just went to the Navy. His his oldest son worked for I think his other son worked for Google. And then he got his oldest daughter. I ain't gonna talk about the girls. And then he got one in high school. He played basketball, and then he got 2 little ones. I'm like, brother, you need to start estate planning right now, man. And he a little older than me. He about my age, about 40. Let's say,
I'm
yeah.
47.
Yeah, he about 40. Yeah, he about 45, 46. So,
Oh, 70s,
but
baby.
I'm just like, man, that's legacy, legacy. I'm starting to think that we allergic to legacy.
It
Unless it
sounds like it.
involves,
Hey, we always got
unless
to start over, huh?
yeah, because I'm just like, unless it involves passing down debts and bills,
We
you
good at
know,
that.
yeah, awesome at that. A+ students, valedictorians at that. But I'm like, man, if you got a couch that's worth money, man, that can go into your estate, man.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got a leather couch or some kind of couch that they think is the best in the family. Jewelry, uh, motherfucking Impala on 24s, with beat in the trunk. Next thing you know, the motherfucker repo. Come on. And this happened with my nephew.
Repo.
Nephew had a Charger. It's clean, blue Charger, midnight navy blue Charger. You know, had the rims and all of that. Paying car notes on it, and my sister had to pay the car notes.
Mm.
And like I was telling Mo, now you got all this stuff, but you get on Facebook begging people for donations to bury somebody.
Yeah, that's disheartening, bro.
I'm just like, sometimes, man, I be wanting to move out this damn country because I'm just tired of the nigga shit, man. And of course, his family, and then this person, that person. You see the shit online, then you see, you know, niggas falling in love with scammers and
Mm.
following their every move. You know the niggas are scamming and you still supporting them. Shit is insane. Oh no, man, y'all hating on the downfall of a black man, man. It didn't work out, so y'all gonna run on the brother. I'm like, nigga, this nigga stole y'all money. What are you talking about? Are you serious? The biggest scam of it all, and y'all probably don't know this, dude that I read about and liked, right? The the richest black billionaire man in America.
What was it Robert Williams? The
Robert Frederick Smith.
Yeah,
Robert
is that the developer?
Yeah, the software guy.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, yeah.
Venture capitalist.
Mm-hmm.
He a government informant, man.
Oh yeah, I think I read something about that. Yeah.
Yeah. government informant. And what's crazy, how he got really that billionaire status, he was working with, excuse me, with another guy at Goldman Sachs. They gave him the money to start it.
Mm.
Yeah, they hired it offshore or something like that. And the feds
Uh-huh.
got them. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Then I seen he had a black wife, and then now he got a white wife, ugly ass white woman too.
Uh,
I seen the woman he was married to. I'm just like, listen, man, I ain't gonna never stop loving black women, but I sure as hell, if I'm gonna get me a white woman, she got to be bad. She can't look like. That's why I be thinking, man, they be setting them people up. I think some of that stuff be set up, in my opinion. I ain't trying to get all of this conspiracy theories and all that stuff, but some of that stuff just don't be making sense sometimes. I don't want to get too deep off into that, but you know, I'm just looking at all this stuff and how it be playing out. I'm just like all the people, we be into, everybody seen them do the speech about, paying off the, what was it, the student loans or something at that one college. What was it, Spelman?
Oh, no, it was Howard.
Spelman.
Yeah.
Howard. Okay, Howard.
Yeah.
I'm just like, y'all do know that is a tax strategy, right? And it's in the book.
Couldn't that be classified as like a donation as well?
Yes, that's why
Mm.
it's a tax strategy. And I just read off the donations earlier how, how you can, get relief on that
Yep.
and where you can put it and it can grow and you ain't
Yeah,
got
but
you gotta pay no taxes on it.
I ain't mad at them for that one though. I
I
mean,
ain't either.
because that's a lot of burden off some young folks. Howard, it probably 4 years there. That could be about what, 60, $80,000, maybe. I don't
That's
know.
more. No, that's at least on it. That's at least on it.
You think so?
Depending on what your depending on what your degree is,
I'm just
Right.
saying that.
just and then that prestigious college in itself. It's like buying a Ferrari. You're paying for the vehicle and the actual name.
Yeah, that's a nice burden not to have coming out of college, though. I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So like it just be getting tiring, man. And then tired of telling people the same stuff over and over, talking about friends and family. I'm like, bro, you come to me complaining about the same stuff, but I keep telling you what to do. I'm like, how you having kids, man, and you ain't protected? You can die at any moment, and you ain't got nothing to give your kids. And so, you know, videos like this, it's got low viewership because people don't like this stuff, even though it's a necessity. Uh, but people want to wait to the last minute to do stuff and then find out, oh, well, it's kind of too late. And then it's going to cost you this much. Why would you wait till you financially to be able to do what you need to do? You wait till your worst earning years to, put all this stuff together, not when you're at your prime.
I don't know. I would tell anybody the sooner you start, the better. because it is an ongoing process. And
Mhm.
when you start talking about that estate stuff, it can be overwhelming with all the options out there and all that.
Right.
And the way I look at it, you just got to start with a framework and just continue to work on it, and
Yeah.
ask them questions. It's really like doing research almost,
Hmm.
just keep asking them questions and refining it,
Right. All it
and
takes
just
is a
start.
conversation.
It
Yeah.
does, but it could be overwhelming, Chris. I'm just,
Oh, I
trying to
agree.
have a
I agree with you. That's why I was
look.
saying earlier. I was telling Mo, this is just conversations you should strike up. At all the holiday meetings, the feasts, the Easters, the Christmases, the Thanksgivings, and somebody got to be willing to sacrifice and be like, you know what, I'm a invest into this, and I'm gonna find out what needs to be done, how we got to do it, because I just, yes, it's a lot to take in, but you can't wait till somebody die and be like, oh man, we needed that. How many times we gonna keep doing this, in recent history and memory. Oh man, dang man, we should have done that. I should have got life insurance. This and
Mm,
that's the type of bad habits I'm talking about. We got to stop that shit. Oh man,
yeah,
I
we
should
do
have done
that.
that. No, do it, man. You know, do the research. I ain't saying, yes, it's a lot of information to take in, but it's an investment. It's legacy. But if you ain't care about no legacy and all you care about is nigga shit, then I get it. Why you ain't gonna value it. I understand. People be invested in other people's stuff, celebrities. It's more people talking about OJ, it situation than they talking about their own situation.
Shoot, no shade, but OJ gone. No, no,
Right.
just rest in peace, OJ. But
Right on. And that's why I like McKee so much. Because man, I got to listen to that video again because she laid it out better than whatever I can put it. And she, even as a single woman with her children, she got her shit set up. So, some of it, is the knowledge we don't have. I get that. I think most of us heard about wills and trust, but never, take the time to find out, how we do it, how we get it started, so forth and so on, because we just think about it. We just think about it the wrong way. You know, we always try to refer to, oh man, that's, white people do that stuff. No,
man,
they,
yeah, I think that book got Tony Robbins. I think he had a worksheet in there. Just some stuff where you can just fill in and kind of start like because you sit down with somebody like a McKee or hell you once you get certified, Chris, y'all gonna be asking questions and jokers is gonna be like, damn. I mean, damn. No, I don't know that. Damn. I don't know that. Damn. Oh, well, how much you think you're gonna need? I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
And I mean, just start right there. Fill out the initial questions, and they gotta be accurate.
Right. Great. So I just be like, at some point, man, just gotta make the sacrifice and just
Yeah.
do what needs to be done. Somebody got to do it. So
And funerals ain't cheap.
right, sure ain't.
That's an easy shit, 12, 15,000.
Yep. And then guess what? If you got an estate plan, you got a trust, you got a will and all that stuff, all the drama and the bullshit is cut out.
That's
Because
true.
guess whatever, it's all legal document. It's written down, it's notarized. And guess what? If you think you about to come in here and you ain't on this paperwork, loan denied.
Mm.
So it's paperwork. What happened to Mo?
I don't know. Miss Mo might be asleep.
Come on, Chris. What kind of question that? You ain't hear that snoring?
I don't know, man. We was up to about 2 this morning. I said, hey, my phone had died.
Oh yeah. I was asking Mo, what happened? What was
Oh,
y'all talking
nothing.
about?
Chris.
Because I heard him. I
We
heard
just went
Sonny.
down
Yeah.
a rabbit hole. I ain't going back down that rabbit hole.
Bro, I heard all the way up until like 1 o'clock in the morning what y'all was talking about. And I was knocked out. Like my phone was
That day I
dead.
had my stuff on the charger.
Mine just died. We probably still be on there now if it had. So
Yeah. I was like, dang. I heard Coach and Sonny going at it. Well, Mo told me what it was though. And yeah, when he put
yeah,
that video, he put that video on there today, I was like, oh man, come on, Sonny. Really, bro?
leave that alone. I ain't even get. I wanted to ask Coach about them brothers and that $100 million project they got going on down there in Birmingham. We didn't even get to that.
Oh, that sound big. That's a big project.
Yeah, it's huge. It's about 30, 50 brothers. They don't locked in and get ready to do a project. One of the guys used to work for the Department of Housing for Alabama. I mean, they got a strong city council behind them, and yeah, they about to get busy. There was an article, I think it was in Yahoo Finance. I had put it in the chat, in the back chat.
I think I seen something about that.
Hey, Brother Price, did you get that PDF?
I did, bro. I'm gonna start that book this weekend, man.
Okay.
I pretty
My fault.
appreciate it.
No, no problem. I seen it late. I was like, oh shit. Let me go ahead and see if I can find this right quick.
That's what I was saying. I said I've been doing too much YouTube. Let me get back to some regular stuff.
Yeah. It's always good to read.
Hey, I knocked out a couple of audio books, Chris. I did the Creature from Jekyll Island. I knocked that out so far, and then I knocked out the History of Money.
Oh yeah,
That
that
was
Jekyll Island. It's tough.
yeah. So, that ain't too bad. Got
Yeah.
two big ones out, and we only in the second quarter. So
Oh yeah. Doing
I
something
read.
proper. I bet.
I took out what is it? The Automatic Investor, and read that one. That was a pretty good one. Let me see what else I got up in here. Yeah, I took that out. Oh, the Automatic Millionaire.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check some of that out. I be fucking reading chapters and
Yeah, you reading them thing on the
man,
series 6, series 7, right?
yeah, shit, man, that shit can get boring and just long. Hey, I was reading that stuff today, man. I ain't gonna lie, estate planning stuff can be overwhelming and intimidating. That shit is boring though. I ain't gonna lie, but for me, to me, I'm interested in stuff like that because it just provides so much value, and then you ain't got to be saying, "Oh, that's white people stuff" when you find out you can do it, and that you ain't the only black people that know about estate planning and trust and all of that.
You know, it's crazy when I read book. I get to a certain point with a book where I feel like it's boring until like I read like the next paragraph, and all of a sudden it gets interesting all over again,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and I just keep reading it. Like I'm trying to finish the Tony Robinson book, but I'm like in the middle of Market Wizards.
You say market who?
Market Wizard.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna put that on my list.
It's it's interesting. It's one of those psychology. I mean, like I think over which one did Over put on his actual YouTube channel? I think it was no, yeah, which one that was. I think that is Market Wizards that he did the one that he had on
Mm-hmm.
his YouTube channel for the longest. But I got the book now, so it's better for me to read it in the book so I can read it. If I miss something, I go back to the page.
Right.
Sometimes I might start the chapter all over again. I'm not too far in the chapter.
We talk about a lot about sentiment.
Yeah, market sentiment, psychology of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro, that's a huge part right there.
Mm-hmm.
Emotions and yeah, like I say, psychology and that herd mentality and just you know,
So it's deep.
yeah, I bet it is. I bet it is.
Mm-hmm.
I just that to me that'd be well a lot of the manipulation be coming into play. You know, and it's just my speculation. That, Joe could be talking about every time I sell it goes up, or every time I buy it goes down, or it happens for this, or Jokers get caught up in that vicious cycle, and the media just sit there and put fuel on the fire, with headlines and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
Jokers could really, stray from their strategies or just make some bad decisions.
Yep.
And that's what's nice about Market Wizard. It gives you like little stories of different famous traders like Richard Dennis, Paul Tudor Jones,
Yep.
and like they give you like a question and answer type deal.
Trading in the zone. Trading in the zone.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's saved into the playlist. I never lose that video.
I watched that one so many times.
Yeah, that video is a classic, man. Oba gave us that video at least 4 or 5 times over the years.
Yeah.
Mo really sleep.
Yeah,
I don't know, brother.
I think
I'm
she
probably about
did.
to hop out of here on y'all though, man. I'm just tapping in,
Yeah,
say what's up.
yeah. I'm probably about to get up out of here too. Been
Yeah,
on for a few hours already. Watch the rest of this game and read a little bit and turn it in.
Say, rinse and repeat tomorrow.
Yep. Yep. And that's about it, y'all.
We'll holler at
Mo.
y'all, brothers.
All right, bro. Mo,
All
get
right,
your
guys.
busting up.
Ass snugged up with a snuggie.
That girl always falling asleep, man. Dang. All right, Brandon.
All
Let
right,
Mo.
Chris.
I'll let you, brother.
All right.